You know, Freud died at age 83, still asking one question. What do women want?
I was trying to, you know, when I came on board, trying to justify why this character is so out of sync with the times, because I know he makes money thinking this way, but somewhere along the line he had to have gotten a clue that he was not tuning into women properly.
You know I love you, Nick, but it's a woman's world out there. And getting into a woman's psyche is not exactly your strong suit. You can get into their pants better than anybody on earth, but their psyche is a whole other ballgame.
So I gave him this background of Las Vegas, growing up in Las Vegas in the 60s, and that's where the music influence came from. And then I looked at some Frank Sinatra movies myself just before I wanted to make the movie, just to kind of get some of that Rat Pack dialogue in my head and that way of saying things.
You can access things through music, you know, listening to Frank, Dean, and Sammy, and that whole kind of Ocean's 11 kind of ring-a-ding stuff, you know.
I don't like finding these things in your sofa. What kind of woman wears underwear like this?
Hey, my mother wore underwear like that, all right? Just put them somewhere with you, babe.
He's a little out of sync, this guy, with the world today. He works at an ad agency, and he has done extremely well, but his niche is basically sexist advertising. You want babes in bikinis, he's your guy. But the world is changing, and he's not changing with it. And I think that's why he was chosen to receive this gift that he gets in the movie. Because, you know, when you make a movie like this and something unreal happens, you have to justify it as the person making the movie. Why him? Why was this guy chosen of all the schmucks in the world? Why'd they pick this one to allow him to evolve? And I think it's because he has a good soul and he could be saved.
Well, Nick's the kind of guy who's, you know, he has a very healthy ego, let's put it that way. He's kind of raised in Vegas, and he sort of dresses nice and has a sense of style, but he's a guy's guy. You know, he likes to have a vodka and a cigarette and hang out with broads, you know. But, you know, he's about to get a pretty nasty surprise in his life.
You okay?
Oh, here we go.
Do you realize that I have an Ivy League education and that running your stupid errands has put me into therapy? Why don't you take me seriously and give me some real work to do? Oh, yeah, I remember why. Because I have a vagina!
Is there anything else I can get for you?
I mean, imagine if you could start hearing what people were thinking. You'd think you were losing your mind for a little while, wouldn't you? So he goes through those, you know, very varying degrees of change to, he gets to the point where he begins to take advantage of this gift, as he calls it.
Hello, I'm Darcy.
Hi, I'm Nick Marshall.
Oh, I've heard a lot about you, Nick.
Oh, and I've heard a lot about you too, Darcy.
Well, don't worry, can't all be true.
Let's hope not.
My play, a woman hired to be Mel Gibson's boss, and I come in knowing that that his character, sort of the top guy at this agency, hates me, even though he's never met me. So I think my task in the movie is to come in with some strength and somehow cut through the enormous amount of preconception that exists in the place where she's working. If you want to sell an anti-wrinkle cream or a Ford Mustang to a woman, forgive me, but this is the last place you bring your business, and we can't afford to not have a piece of a $40 billion pie.
Working with Helen is a terrific experience. I mean, she's very warm, and she had kind of a great presence, and it wasn't like a huge part. One gets the sense that she's in the entire film because of, you know, what she brings to it.
Look, I think I'm lucky she said yes, you know. I think that she's the most sought-after woman in movies today, and so I was really lucky that she said yes to me. And I wanted her primarily because I felt she was perfect for this part of a very smart woman who becomes Mel Gibson's boss, who runs a huge advertising agency. I believe she went to a great college. I believe she's always been moved up the corporate ladder, and she's funny.
As our friends in Hollywood say, let's cut to the chase.
Hubba, hubba, here he comes, looking awfully good today. And I haven't had sex in 4 months. Okay, 6. Oh, why'd I tell him to stop asking me out? I'm an idiot, idiot, idiot!
My character, my little Lola, she's at a desperate point in her life. She's stuck behind the counter at the coffee shop. She isn't realizing her creative dreams. She's been burned by men, and she hasn't had sex in a while. So that's a frantic resume.
I think Marissa Tomei is extraordinary in the movie. Mel sort of worked with all these women separately, you know, and so I didn't see a lot of what was happening. I knew she's funny, and we did a read-through, and she was great, but I just think she's extraordinarily hilarious that she sleeps with this guy one time and, like, her hair goes crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Marshall is a sex god!
Yeah.
Marissa, again, I'm like the luckiest person in the world to have gotten Marissa Tomei for this part. She just gives it her all. She's hilariously funny.
This is a gifted comedian. I think she's timing and stuff. I was like, whoa.
Why would you want to get rid of such a brilliant gift?
Well, for starters, almost every woman I know thinks I'm an asshole.
That's what I thought when I first met you.
Doc, could you please give me a break here?
She is Bet, you know. It's like, geez, I went to a concert of hers a long time ago, so I was always a fan. But she, you know, she's funny. She's like she's brash and bold, and she can do stuff that other people can't do.
Hey, here she is, pretty in pink. So 2 whole weeks together, huh?
Yeah. How you gonna handle it?
I'm gonna love it. You can take care of your old man for a change. Cook for me, get me my slippers.
Yeah, that'll be happening. Alex is the rebellious girl, product of divorced parents. I loved how their relationship changed through the beginning of the movie to the end. Because in the beginning, she has to go stay with him, and he's trying to be Mr. Dad, and he's never been around, and she's just like, hey, what are you doing?
Okay, this is it. Let me take a look. Yes, I look older. Oh, I can't believe this is what I'll be wearing the last night I'm a virgin. Or should I say what I'll be taking off?
We shot that whole scene in a day, and it was great because Mel was totally supportive. He made me feel at ease in that scene. And Nancy Meyers is great. She's one of my favorite directors. She's a very hard worker, and she'll do things till she gets what she wants, and I love that.
Working with Nancy was a pleasure. She does a lot of takes, and at first I was very worried that it was me, that I wasn't understanding the character or understanding what she wanted in the scene. And then when I saw that that was the way that she worked, I stopped worrying about that.
The challenge was, do the actresses look like they're thinking these things, or do they not look like they're thinking these things? So we did takes in every direction.
Nancy and I have a mutual friend in Jim Brooks, and he said to me when I was deciding whether or not to take the movie, of the many possibilities, one of them is that you two will end up being very good friends. And very quickly, we were finishing each other's sentences and talking in some kind of strange code, and we'd look and Mel would go, I didn't actually understand anything that was said in the last half an hour, so I'm gonna go get a soda and somebody will explain it to me later. We just seem to think in the same way.
I love his dance number. I love his dance number.
He was supposed to, in the script, you know, be dancing around his apartment drunkenly. So we kind of gave it a little more style, you know. We kind of made it into a little number.
I love when Mel dances because it says so much about the movie. It says so much about his character, and there's storytelling even within the dance. And I also love there's a scene with Mel and Helen in a conference room at night where they're working together, and it's very romantic, but nothing happens romantic, and there's no dialogue that's romantic, but you see them falling in love.
You know, my favorite scene is the one where we walk in on him, and he's in all the women's products.
Yeah, let's see which end is up here. Hi!
What are you doing?
Exfoliating.
The first time he put pantyhose on in the first wardrobe session that we had where he was trying on all his costumes for the movie, we put him in nude pantyhose because that's initially what I thought. And he put them on. I said, oh, Mel, you look naked. No, we can't do this. So we put him in black pantyhose, and, you know, there's that line there for the control top. And, you know, Mel's very smart. He understood the humor in the movie. He totally got what was funny about it.
Hello, you. Ooh, wait. Oh, shit. I guess this takes a little finesse.
I think one of the reasons why she wanted me to do the film was because she thought, you know, who do I want to see in pantyhose? Who would never do that? Who would at least expect to do that? And she, like, came up with me. I think she fed it into a computer, and the poll said.
I think Nancy wanted this movie to have a classic feel to it. She's a big fan of romantic comedies of the 30s and 40s. We watched a little bit of Woman of the Year before we rehearsed the date scene that Mel and I have. There's a great scene in Woman of the Year where Katharine Hepburn is just chattering away, and he's looking at her. He's just looking at her, and you can't take your eyes off the way he looks at her.
People have always asked me that about the movies that I've done, that they seem old-fashioned in a good way, I hope they mean. But it's not deliberate. It's not like I, watch His Girl Friday every, weekend, although I do sometimes. But I am in love with those kind of movies. I don't try to copy them. I don't read them before I start to do a scene or anything. It just comes out that way. There's something, when you put two people in an office situation together who are falling in love, it's going to feel classic like that because those movies had those kind of scenes, So the situations are similar.
Don't fall for a guy at work. Don't fall for a guy at work.
Why?
Why what?
Why don't I just work on these storyboards and then bring them around to you tomorrow if you're free?
I'm free. Just call me anytime. I'm flirting. What's wrong with me? Oh, God, I just looked at his penis. Oh, I hope he didn't see me. Oh, shit, I just looked at it again. Stop it.
Are you all right?
I'm fine. I just got something in my eye.
I think that the thoughts the women have in the film are things women think about. This is not all we think about. This is not the exclusive inside dope on what women think.
What did this role teach me about women? Probably something I knew all along, but it's, worth reiterating, is that they want to be heard.
I've been told by men that some of the things are surprising that women think about, that they have sexual thoughts. They worry about their children, their health, their estrogen levels, whatever. Women think about, and Mel has a line in the movie that women worry all the time about everything. And that's my take on it. We think we go over things all the time and look at every side, and we do have to do that juggling act that men don't have to do.
The sexes have their own peculiarities, and it's peculiar to just them. And sometimes they're at cross purposes. I think what's important is not that you totally understand, but you make the attempt to understand. Because I don't think you'll ever get a complete understanding of some of these mysteries.
This was fun.